Home. Such a simple, short word. But what does it even mean to be at home? And what if you lose it? Like the millions of current refugees fleeing conflicts. Why is it so painful when you don't feel at home anywhere, and so fulfilling when you have found it? And how is it that even those who have a home seem to keep searching for one? Subconsciously, I have struggled with this topic for some time. I saw it in my journal. I saw it in the songs I wrote. I was searching, but not for intellectual concepts or philosophical answers. I wanted to see, ask, experience, try things out. But I never thought that this search would lead me into a war zone. Here I am, in a place I've never been before. Well, actually, I'm going home. At least that's what I think I'm doing. It's not the usual going back home, because I left home this morning. I traveled for 3 hours on public transport to get here. It's more like looking for the place where I belong, even if I've never been there before. It feels exactly like I hoped it would here. A nice big living room. I've read many quotes describing what being home means. For example, home is where the mountains are. I can definitely confirm that, especially here. But at the same time, I feel just as much at home by the sea, even though I didn't grow up in the mountains or by the sea. Some say home is where your people are. There's something to that, but I'm completely alone here and yet I still really feel at home. Others say home is where the heart is. Somehow I know that's also true, but it's a rather poetic statement. I love cooking outside, especially after a mountain hike. To a large extent, we develop the feeling of being at home unconsciously through routine. For example, through the way we prepare food in the kitchen, and then sit at the same table or even in the same chair when we eat. We have a favorite place to relax. We have our usual routines for housework. In the evening, we round off the day as usual, get ready for bed, and go to sleep. Morning atmosphere in the mountains. There is simply nothing like it. Time for the morning routine. First freshening up, then preparing a good cup of coffee. A good day begins with a time of silence. These simple habits and the familiarity of a home give us a feeling of security and safety. But what happens when this security is suddenly lost?
Первых 2 дня, когда началась война, мы с женой и ребенком это время находились дома. Потому что так мы думали безопаснее, чтобы не выходить на улицу, чтобы не попасть под какие-то обстрелы. Когда начался третий день, и с самого утра мы услышали очень мощные взрывы. Мы насчитали более 20 взрывов, и это было настолько близко, насколько я никогда в жизни не слышал. Мы были очень напуганы, и я сразу же решил, что нужно вывозить семью за границу. Я взял машину, и мы выехали к границе. Моя жена с ребенком уехали в Германию, а я, как мужчина призывного возраста, мне пришлось остаться в Украине.
Here we are, my sister Debbie and I, in a place we've never been before. 6 months ago, she asked me if I would like to visit Tenerife with her. I didn't have to think twice. I'd wanted to go to an island again for years. It's been over 2 months since my very special time out alone in the mountains. I've been working a lot since then. I'm looking forward to a relaxing time with my sister on Tenerife. It's the first time we're just the two of us on holidays. It feels a bit like when we were little. Back then, with our toys and lots of imagination, we would explore new worlds. Many years later, we can now explore this island together, which is truly a small world of its own. Debbie loves to clamber up rocks wherever she can. There are countless photos of her sitting on boulders. Mom always has a little crisis when she sees pictures like this. But it means a lot to Debbie just to spend time up there and to take in the view of a vast landscape. She's like a little girl, marveling at the big world. The higher up, the better. As I watch her, I am reminded that illness nearly took her life twice as a teenager. I get teary-eyed, and I'm deeply grateful that I can be here with my sister. We talk a lot about the past, the present, and the future. We are very grateful that our parents created a home in which both of us and our younger brother could fully develop and grow up together. Limited financial resources never held our parents back from creating opportunities for us to spend time and enjoy life as a family. We learned to be creative with what we had. It's just lovely to see how well Debbie and I harmonize on these holidays. We are apparently still a great team. Time goes by far too quickly. Sometimes I experience those moments where the mood of the surroundings perfectly matches my thoughts and feelings. This morning is just like that. On the one hand, there's a beautiful sunrise. On the other, there are a lot of dark clouds approaching. The contrasts on our planet frequently fill me with concern. I make a coffee to take with me, and I walk down the rather adventurous stairs to the sea. I really feel at home in this little village. I can once again drink my morning coffee by the sea. I'm the happiest person in the world. But at the same time, something is bothering me. Just before I left for Tenerife, I heard that an organization was looking for helpers to distribute food and wood for the winter in eastern Ukraine. Should I really go there? So close to the front line? But to be honest, I've been waiting for an opportunity like this. We enjoyed the last few days in this beautiful, one-of-a-kind place. For a short time, this island was our home. If you want to come with us, you have to be prepared to be flexible, uncomplicated, and physically tough. You have to be ready to be faced with suffering, hatred, and danger, but still have a lot of fun and enjoy yourself. So far, I've only seen this war in videos and on maps. I know about the dangers of mines, drones, rockets, and artillery, but so far, it hasn't had anything to do with me directly. During this organization's last relief operation, a rocket hit so close at night that the windows vibrated. The danger is real. For several days, you're only 10 to 30 kilometers away from the front line. The situation looks like this. I currently have a safety distance of around 2,300 kilometers. So I am voluntarily reducing this to less than 1%. If I only look at myself, putting myself in danger is simply stupid. If I look at the people who need help, the same decision is love. I realized something. Without courage, love is just a fantasy. On the other hand, there are people who love me. It's not easy for my mom, in particular, to let me go. And my wife? Well, she already knew she was signing up for an intrepid adventure when she married me. But seriously, I'm grateful to her for not only letting me go, but for actively supporting me. I know that I'm supposed to go there and help. Hello, Toby. I'm in. Feel free to add me to the group chat. Best regards, Nat. The weeks leading up to departure feel strange at times. In the modern world, we rarely think about the fact that our lives will someday end. I know that I won't be in immediate mortal danger in Ukraine, but the danger there is real. I also don't know what effect my experiences will have on me. I have said yes to uncertainty. When you wait for weeks to go to a war zone, it does something to you. I feel a new appreciation for the people in my life. For Manuela, the woman who gave me her lifelong yes years ago and is my best friend. For Mom and Dad, Debbie and Simeon, with whom I have experienced so much together. For my best friend Simon, with whom I've been exploring life and sharing every challenge for more than 15 years. There are so many people I'm close to, and I am at peace with all of them. When any one of them hurt me, I forgave them. I've had the privilege of living my whole life in a country where I have never been threatened by war or hunger. Despite the dreams I have and what I still want to achieve on this planet, I can say one thing with certainty. Even though some phases in my life have been very difficult, I have experienced more good things than anyone could wish for. If this were the end, I would be ready to leave. This film project is different. There are some things I'm not even allowed to film. Army vehicles, trenches, soldiers, floating bridges, military checkpoints. Drones are so crucial in this war that every drone pilot is in danger. For the special authorizations needed, you have to specify the time and place of the flight in advance. As I will primarily be there as an aid worker, I cannot plan this in advance. My beloved little drone has to stay home. All these restrictions are, of course, frustrating for a filmmaker. But they make one thing all the clearer. This is not a holiday in a tourist region. This is humanitarian aid in a war zone. So I'm taking the following film equipment with me. My camera, a mini tripod, perfect for outdoor use, and a normal-sized tripod. A gimbal on which the camera would be stabilized, useful for example while walking or driving. An LED light with a small tripod, just in case. That's everything. Apart from microphones, spare batteries, chargers, power bank, backup memory card, camera cleaning kit, travel plug, power strip, and of course a Swiss Army knife. It's time to pack. Probably the most important thing is to have enough warm clothing. Everything starts tomorrow morning. Friday, a cold morning in January. The moment has come. It's a rather special morning. It's very early. I'm going to eastern Ukraine. I will help deliver food packages and wood for people who are in need to help them get through the winter. In a few minutes I will meet with some people and our journey will start. If I can, I will post something next week. I'm at the airport in Basel with my two new friends, Marcus and Benjamin. We are in the Republic of Moldova, a neighboring country to Ukraine, where we have until Sunday to make preparations. Saturday, the day before departure. We prepared dozens of heating candles in tins, each made from cardboard and wax, so that soldiers on the front line can have a little warmth. 800 packages with 10 kilograms of food each have to be loaded. There are also hygiene products for hundreds of households. Buses and trailers are loaded. We also have food for the journey. Sunday, after lunch, we finally set off. Ukrainian customs. The checks and formalities take around an hour to complete. It's my first time in Ukraine. The sun went down about an hour ago. It's freezing cold. On we go. The safety distance is getting shorter and shorter. The ancient bus I'm traveling in seems to be reaching its limits in these temperatures. The guys are checking something. I don't understand a word. Maybe better. My feet are icy. The bus is so leaky that the wind blows around them the whole journey. Despite the heating being on, the thermometer in my backpack only reads 5 degrees Celsius. We make our first stop at a Ukrainian gas station shop. Cheerful young ladies are working there. The shop looks like any other, with one exception. The lottery advert celebrates the destruction of the Russian flagship. We make a stopover at the church. There we load up hundreds more of these homemade heating candles. We are invited to a generous meal. The appreciation and hospitality touch me. Afterward, we are on the road for a few more hours and finally arrive at our overnight accommodation shortly after 2 a.m. I look forward to getting some shut-eye. I have this deep feeling that I'm in the right place and doing the right thing. And my feet are warm again for the first time in hours. Six o'clock in the morning. After 3 hours of sleep, the journey continues. We reach Kyiv, another special moment for me. We pick up a couple of Ukrainians who want to help their compatriots. Coffee, at last. And of course pastry to go with it. The group is in a good mood. Then we have to replace a few light bulbs and continue eastwards. The distance to the front line is getting shorter and shorter, and the army checks are becoming more frequent. I slowly realized that in this country, everyday civilian life and the reality of war are intermingled. We take a break in a supermarket in Kharkiv. This important city was successfully defended at the beginning of the war, but hundreds of buildings were destroyed. Here, too, life looks quite normal at first glance. However, there are many members of the army out and about. It is a strange feeling to be in the middle of everything. We are here. After dinner, we deposited most of our materials in an area reserved for us in this church service room, which has only been used for relief supplies for months. We fill plastic bags with hygiene products and load the buses for tomorrow. Outside, you can hear the muffled thunder of artillery. We are on the way to the first relief mission. It's below zero, but sunny. A really beautiful winter's day. The traces of war are unmistakable. One by one, the people who still live here arrive. Tudor, a leader of our group and army chaplain from Moldova, introduces us to the villagers. Alex, who grew up in this region, strikes up a few songs. Tudor strengthens those present with a short, encouraging sermon. Some request personal prayer. We start distributing blankets and woolen caps. The mayor coordinates the distribution of food, hygiene products, and compressed blocks used for heating to ensure a fair distribution for everyone. Then it's time to get to work. A driver drops me off in the neighboring village so that I can film. He picks me up again an hour later. I'm all alone now. Here I am, in a place like no other I've ever seen. In this place, you get the feeling that the fighting is over. It is quiet. In a split second, I realize that it's anything but over here. I'm on high alert. Then I hear the sound of a missile or a fighter jet overhead. We were told that both sound very similar. It's scary.
А ми тую червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну, гей, гей, розвеселимо.
A new day, two different new places. The surroundings are idyllic and the weather is beautiful. You could almost think everything was fine. But a minefield begins right in front of our cars. We were warned not to go down to the river under any circumstances. Not there might be mines, there are mines. In small groups, we take some of the heavy sacks of heating blocks directly to families' homes. This house was hit by a Russian missile. The family had only lived here for a few years. The couple then converted a room in the outbuilding into a kitchen and living space. They invite us in for coffee. Hospitality is an expression of being at home. I've probably never realized that before.
Ну, я родился. Я родился в городе Северодонецке до 18 лет. Потом...
Shortly after this wonderful experience comes a very difficult one. We are in the neighboring village. The school building, the churches, the community center, and more than 95% of the houses are literally in ruins. My new friends, many of whom are husbands and fathers, all have very different professions. The farmer, the pastor, and even the helicopter pilot. During this week, we are a single family. I love the group conversation after dinner. In addition to discussing organizational matters, we also share our dismay. But it is even more important to share personal encounters and moments. It's precisely these stories that make it crystal clear that this is about so much more than just distributing materials. And here too are plenty of reasons to have a good time together. We start every day together and we end it together. I love being here. A few of us bring 2 first aid kits to a woman. She has set up a medical point in her garage and provides first aid for civilians from the village. Makeshift solutions are crucial, but remote diagnostics are also available online. Alex takes the opportunity to do an eye test with Matthias. We are invited for tea and pastries. When I've been to a foreign country in the past, I felt like a guest or a tourist. It's different here. I feel more like a friend or sometimes even like a member of a family I didn't even know I had. Shared pain can create closeness where there would otherwise be cultural distance. Then strangers are suddenly not so strange at all. A new day. Various things still need to be clarified and organized. Spontaneous changes are part of it. People and equipment are distributed to the cars. Then we set off. This day is particularly memorable for me. The weather is cold and unpleasant. We are distributing aid. Suddenly, this woman stands in front of me. Tears in her eyes, she hugs me and thanks me. I don't understand her words, but the look on her face tells me everything. How much our practical and moral support means to these people can only be understood when you look them in the eyes. The school building is next door. Fortunately, it was only partially damaged. Around 2/3 of it is now used as an improvised hospital. In the other part, the few children still here go to school. We bring them presents. I wish I could shoot close-ups of their shining faces, but as I can't get permission from their parents, I'm left with my memory. In these days, I also realize how much pets contribute to making you feel at home.
Unterwegs habe ich dann noch einen Mann angetroffen. Der hat angefangen zu erzählen. Er ist direkt vor seinem Zuhause gestanden und hat Freude gehabt, jemandem zu erzählen. Ich habe zwar nicht viel verstanden, aber er hat mir von seinem Zuhause erzählt und hat mir alles gezeigt. Alles war komplett zerstört von den Bomben. Er hat mich durchgeführt und hinter seinem Zuhause hat er wie ein neues Häuschen gebaut. Und er hat mir auch das gezeigt. Und am Schluss sind wir dann wieder auf der Straße gestanden und er wollte einfach weiter erzählen. Jetzt er hat mir einfach erzählen, was ist passiert. Es war ihm wichtig, etwas loszuwerden. Dann hat mir seine Frau noch ein wunderbares Kaffee und ein knuspriges, frisches Stück Brot gebracht. Und mir hat es gedacht, dass sie sehr freundlich und dann gleich auch hoffnungsvoll waren nach all dem, was ist passiert.
Those who are not directly affected by war tend to judge the severity of the situation based on figures in news reports. But the really tragic thing is the individual fate, the personal loss, the destruction of livelihoods, the tearing apart of the lives of people who love and need each other. My new friend Ilya tells me how his story continued.
Мы не виделись очень долго. И годы 3 месяца моя жена с дочкой жили в Германии. А я жил в Украине в таких условиях, в которых бывало зимой при холодах не было света по несколько дней. И когда у меня в квартире нет света, у меня нет ни отопления, ни мобильной связи, ни интернета, ни воды, ничего. Буквально замерзал, одевал всю одежду, которая на мне есть. Но моя жена настолько хотела вернуться домой, и дочка моя, настолько они хотели вернуться домой, что несмотря на страх обстрелов, несмотря на то, что у нас днями не было света, воды дома и отопления, они все равно решили вернуться через годы 3 месяца, они вернулись домой.
Here I am, in a place I've been to countless times, at home, in my studio. Just 2 days ago, I was in a war zone. I had the privilege of leaving it again, simply because I have this. I did not choose to be born in one of the most peaceful countries in the world. A country that upholds human dignity and freedom and offers education and opportunities for all. A country where children play with water in front of the government building. Ilya sent me a message from Kyiv. A missile hit the car park where, until a few months ago, he would leave his vehicle.
Hit the parking place where I parked my car for a long time. This looks terrible.
This small Ukrainian village, which was almost 100% destroyed, once had the same number of inhabitants as the one I grew up in. And it was just as idyllic. I can't imagine what it would be like if the village that was my home for the first 23 years of my life were destroyed. The people displaced, the school empty. They are not just destroyed buildings, they are destroyed lives. But there will come a time when the war machines will be melted down and turned into agricultural machines. needs people who take action and invest time and money, even though this will not solve all the problems. Acts of violence take away people's dignity. Acts of love give them back their dignity. The foundation for peace is people who cultivate peace in their own hearts, people who do not allow themselves to be poisoned by injustice and pain, people who forgive others, stand up for justice, and are generous. The world needs people who never stop searching for the truth. People who follow the deep inner consciousness that there is a home that extends far beyond our lifetimes. Here I am, back in the mountains, back home. Once again, I have found a place where my soul comes to rest. A year ago, I began this search to find out more about what it means to be at home. I have gained a new deep insight into the gift of life. In a way, I feel like this journey has only just begun. I look forward to the following chapters. For now, I remain with this thought. Maybe home is simply where I can be who I really am. Thank you for watching my movie. It's been quite a journey. When I was on the way home from Ukraine, I realized a 10-minute YouTube video would not do justice to the depth of the experiences I'd had. So I decided to invest as much time as it would take to make a full movie and tell this unique story and share these deep thoughts of mine. Even though it took more than 800 hours of work, I wanted it to be accessible free of charge. However, if this movie was a valuable experience for you and if you'd like to support my creative endeavors, please feel free to buy me a coffee or a sandwich through my website. Simply scan this QR code or click the link in the description. It's quick and fun. If you're interested in behind the scenes, please check out the making of. I put the link in the description as well. Finally, I look forward to reading your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks again and see you soon.